Good evening. Welcome to my channel. My name is Taiwo Ademeko. I'll be talking, I'll be discussing about depression and how it affects us negatively. Permit me to read from the book of Psalm chapter 77. It says, I cried unto God with my voice, even unto God with my voice, and he gave ear unto me. In the day of my trouble I saw the Lord, my soul ran in the night, and ceased not. My soul refused to be comforted. I remembered God and was troubled. I complained, my spirit was overwhelmed. Thou holdest mine eyes waking. I am so troubled that I cannot speak. I have considered the days of old, the years of ancient times. I call to remembrance my song in the night, I commune with my own heart, and my spirit made diligent search. Will the Lord cast off forever? And will he be favorable no more? Is his mercy clean gone forever? Doth his promise fail forevermore? Has God forgotten to be gracious? Had he in anger shut up his tender mercies? And I said, this is my infirmity, but I will remember the years of the right hand of the Most High. I will remember the works of the Lord. Surely I will remember thy wonders of old. I will meditate also of all thy work, and talk of thy doing. Thy way, O God, is in the sanctuary. Who is so great a God as our God? Thou art the God that doest wonder. Thou hast declared thy strength among the people. Thou hast with thine arm redeemed thy people, the sons of Jacob and Joseph. The waters saw thee, O God, the waters saw thee, they were afraid. The depths also were troubled. The cloud poured out water, the skies sent out a sound. Thine arrows also went abroad. The voice of thy thunder was in the heaven. The lightnings lightened the world, the earth trembled and shook. Thy way is in the sea, and thy path is in the great waters, and thy footsteps are not known. Thou leddest thy people like a flock by the hand of Moses and Aaron. Yeah, one of the dangers to the devil has been using for time so long is depression to get into the hearts of the Son of Man. The popular psychoanalyst Sigmund Freud said something. He said, mental processes could affect physical symptoms. Then he now said, verbatim, he further said, negative mental process can directly affect the physical body. Yeah. One thing is that the devil doesn't want you to be happy as a creature of God. Yeah. He wants to pull down the works of God in your life. He wants to make you see yourself as someone who cannot achieve anything. And even at your lowest, the devil wants to make you feel like you can't get up again. When things are going so terrible, like things are not going as you've expected, the devil wants you to feel like there is no way out. I don't know why, I don't know how you stumbled upon this video right now, but I know God wants you to know, you that you're actually watching me right now, that tomorrow of yours can actually be far, far better than your yesterday and your today. Think of your best. Think of the greatest achievement you've had in time past. You can definitely do better than that. You know, in verse 3 there, verse 3 of that Psalm 77, it says, I remember God and was troubled. I complained and my spirit was overwhelmed. So one thing that depression does to us, now I'm talking about what depression does to the heart of man, to the soul of man, and even to the body of a man, is actually overwhelming us. Yeah. Depression makes us get overwhelmed. Like you feel like, what do I have to do? How can I get myself out? What is the way out of this my present predicament? What can I do? How can I save myself? I think it's over. I think I can't get up. All those things, and then we keep drowning and drowning and drowning and drowning and drowning in our thoughts. And one thing about depression, you know, our anxious thoughts will always make us think, most of the time anyway, will make us think of how bad things can get and not how better things can become. So depression overwhelms us. Another thing is that it also awakens our memory. Yeah, it could be good, it could be bad. but it awakens our memory. When you should be sleeping, you lose your sleep. When you should concentrate, you lose your concentration. I've been there before. I've been there before. Verse 6 says, I call to remembrance my song in the night. I commune with my own heart, and my spirit made diligent search. That's one funny thing about depression. So now, when your memory is awakened, so you can actually either think positively or negatively. But most of the time, depression itself, when the memory is awake, makes you think of, you know, mostly negative things. I want you to go and look for that particular quote of Sigmund Freud and look at things that have been actually written about it. That negative mental processes or negative mental process can directly affect the physical body. One other thing that depression does is that it robs us of our sleep. Yeah, when your memory is just fully awake and stuff like that, depression will rob you of your sleep. Where you've actually where you've actually done it wrong, the things that you should do. At times, you just begin to think of how I wish we are still in. Right now, as I'm making this video, this is 2025 June, and you may start thinking, I wish we are still in the year 2024 or 2023, and I can take, or maybe we are still in the year 2008, and I can start doing things this way, start doing things that way, and it won't make you appreciate God for what God has done for you in time past. Yeah, leading to the fourth one now, which is that depression seals our lips. You won't be able to appreciate God for what God has done for you before. You rather be thinking of how bad things has been. Take your time to have a private study of that particular book of Psalm chapter 77 and analyze uh, what that psalmist actually went through. I know it speaks to you that you are watching me right now. It speaks to you. Now, the causes of depression now, morbid or pessimistic outlook of life. Yeah, morbid or pessimistic outlook of life. These things are part of causes of depression. Myopic sense of reasoning, not being able to think, you know, better, not being able to think properly. And then devil will begin to drop thoughts like, can I achieve this? Can I achieve that? My mates are this, my mates are that. My mates have achieved this, my mates have achieved that. Then an offending conscience is also one of those causes of depression. Yeah, an offending conscience. When you keep blaming yourself for things that you've done in time past that you do not even have control over anymore. I wish I didn't do this. You have done it. Just look for the proper way out. Come to God for reconciliation, live the right life. If some certain steps you took in time past were concerning a particular kind of business or investment, and you 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 lost, yeah, woefully or terribly or whatever, you don't have to dwell on it again because you actually cannot control it, except you can control it. But oftentimes we can't control it. It has happened, it has happened. For instance, people got introduced to Ponzi schemes and then they put their money and the money is gone. You don't have to kill yourself, you don't have to beat yourself over it. It is bad that you have to do that anyway. But nonetheless, you don't have to kill yourself over it, you don't have to beat yourself over it. It has happened, it has happened. So the next thing is, how do I get myself out of this mess? You fornicated before, and maybe you are being guilt tripped, or something has happened and it is actually wrong. Yeah, it is wrong. Now you have to reconcile with God and not dwell over those things you have done in time past. Just like Jesus Christ did say, he said, I'm the way, I'm the truth, and I'm the life. One other cause of depression is too much of unhealthy introspection. Yeah, too much of unhealthy introspection is also one of those causes of depression. Then the basic one now that is the cause of depression is leaving God out of reckoning. Yeah, leaving God out of reckoning. When we refuse to reckon God, when we refuse to beckon unto God, when things are bad, most of the time as human, we want to get out of it by ourselves. Yeah, we don't go to consult God to ask Him, oh God, what is the way out? What have I done wrong? What can I do better? Speak to me. I want to hear you. That still small voice, I want to hear it. I want you to talk to me. I want you to help me out. I want you to lead me out of this present predicament, present situation, present trial, present temptation. And God will speak. And by the still small voice, by revelation, by trance, by sending a messenger. Now, sending a messenger, I'm not talking about sending prophet or no. Like, either way, God is just going to send His word to you. You know, what the devil wants for the children of God is to get us drowned in depression and afterwards lose everything completely. If you look at that particular Psalm 77 there, that psalmist, after expressing his fear, talking about the things he's going through and every other thing, then all of a sudden he started reasoning like, God has done this for me in time past. God has done this for me before now. He saved me with his right hand, he blessed me, he did this, he did that. When you look around, you look at and you see things around you, this makes you know that God truly exists and that there is nothing that God cannot do, and that there is no time that God cannot visit you, and that there is no time too late for God to save you from your present predicament. In verse 3, there it said, I remembered God and was troubled. I complained and my spirit was overwhelmed. So he refused. Now, okay, don't let me say he refused. It was so, when I say unconscious, don't let me say he's unconscious because he's not dead, but subconsciously, he wasn't thinking about the things that God has done for him, but he was rather thinking about the things that he needs, about the things he has lost, about how bad things has been for him. You know, when we further look at that particular Psalm 77, starting from, verse verse, let's say 11, it says, I, from verse 10, it said, and God, this is my infirmity, but I will remember the years of the right hand of the Most High. Those are the years that God has saved him. Yeah, the years of the right hand of the Most High. And there was a time I was actually going through some certain things in life, and then I started remembering how good God has been to me. I remember the stories my mom told me when I was young. Yeah, my mom told me the story. I was already grown, but it told me of some certain things that happened to me when I was pretty small, and how they could have lost me. I'm a twin, and they lost my sister. You know, I'm not happy she's gone. But now for me to be alive, and when I heard the story, I was like, hey, this is truly a miracle. Yeah. And I remember how, having grown up as well, how I had accidents about 2 or 3 times, and nothing happened. In fact, this is one of the scars of accident right here on my face, and I survived. I remember one of those accidents where someone saw me. All these, let me call them first responder, people that will first come to accident scene even before first aid comes or before you are taken to the hospital. And someone was shouting, "Ah, that guy's eyes is gone." They thought I was blind. Yeah. And as at that moment, I can't even see with these eyes. But God saved me. God saved me. And whenever things get bad, I will be like, God, you have done this before. And you are still doing it now. And you'll still do it again. Because God is God. It is written in the Bible where God says that even if you lose your faith, that He will remain faithful because He's God and He cannot deny Himself. That is God. But the devil will not make you see those things. The devil will be like, you did this, you failed. You did that, you failed. Even if you do this or do that next time, you're still going to fail. And that is the devil for you. But God is there for you. And God will always be God. Starting from that verse 10, that man started remembering, he started coming to remembrance of the works of God in his life and on hearts. Lamentation 3 verse 20 says, my soul hath them still in remembrance and is humbled in me. My soul hath them still in remembrance and is humbled in me. His soul remembered God, remember the works of God. There was a year I was diagnosed of sinus tachycardia, and then I was also diagnosed of left ventricular hypertrophy. And I was placed on this, there is this particular class of drugs that hypertensive people use. I don't know the name for the class, but the likes of atenolol, propranolol, clopidogrel, and the likes, and several others like that. So I was placed on some. I visited about 2 doctors. I visited the laboratory 3 times, but two different laboratories. I visited one twice. I visited another one once, and then the results looks the same. And constantly, my blood pressure was like, I think there was a time I clocked about 180. Yeah, my BP clocked 180, measured 180. And I had to take these drugs every day. And any day I stopped taking the drug, I'll be like, I'll feel like I want to die. Yeah. But one day I remember listening to a certain man of God. I wouldn't want to mention his name. It was on the TV. It was a December, and it was ministering. And I told myself, God has done these things before, and God can do it again. I keyed into the message. We'll still talk about faith anyway, but today, the story is not the same anymore. So God has done it before. He can still do it for you again. So now, how do you even escape from depression? Let's talk about that. You have to admit and confess it at once. Yeah, you have to know, like, no, this what I'm actually doing to myself is not the right thing. You can look through the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9 to 10. You have to look at yourself like, this particular thing I'm doing to myself is not right. And do you know that most of the diseases, most of the sicknesses we suffer as men, as man, as human, so to say, some of them are linked to depression. Yeah, go online and read about it. Depression can lead to cardiovascular diseases, can lead to autoimmune, can lead to chronic pain, can lead to neurological problems, and so on and so forth. Chronic diseases, gastrointestinal problems. Some of all these things arise from depression. So you just have to admit that, yeah, confess it. Then seek God, even in a sanctuary. And one of those things that the devil is actually using now is that he's trying to take the children of God away from the temple. Yeah, he's doing it. And there is a massive campaign out there by the devil to take away the children of God from the sanctuary. But you have to seek God in the sanctuary. You have to call unto him, just like the psalmist did. When you read through the book of Psalms, a lot of book of Psalms, you see where the psalmist keeps saying, I call unto God, I cry unto God, I shout unto God, I call upon his name. And God even did say himself, he said you should come unto him. Yeah, he said, come unto me. He said, let us reason together. And then the Father said, put me to the remembrance of my word. So, call unto him in a sanctuary and then privately. If Jesus, widely acknowledged as the Son of God, whom he is, yeah, he's the Son of God, could pray, could fast 40 days and 40 nights, and went to the mounts to pray. Who are you? Who am I? Then encourage yourself in the Lord. Yeah, encourage yourself in the Lord. You have to start developing a positive mindset. Yeah. Just like I said, just like I did cited Sigmund Freud the other time, saying that negative mental process can directly affect the physical body. And it is true. I've been so down in my heart, thinking, so depressed, and and I will wake up every other day having having pains in my spine. Yeah, having pain all over my body. And then you will think you have malaria, or you have or you or you're suffering from some sort of only God knows what. But no, it is depression that is causing those things. There are some scientific proofs to that as well. I'm not a scientist anyway, but you can go online and make research about that. So you have to encourage yourself in the Lord. Yeah, it is important. And you have to also testify of what God has done for you. I would love that you read through the book of First Psalm chapter 30, verse 6. Yeah. So testify to others of the Lord's doing. It is very, very important. And by so doing, you get yourself out of depression. Depression is very, very dangerous. It is one of the tools of the devil. It is only when men are depressed and distressed that you can start thinking of taking the precious life that God has given unto you. I went on a Twitter thread sometimes, and somebody was asking, someone asked the question. Was I asked the question? No, sorry. He gathered some threads, yeah, from Reddit. And then he now attached the question to it that people who have once people who have been suicidal in time past, that how did you guys get out of it? Yeah. And then he brought screenshots of some particular post from Reddit, posted it on Twitter, made a thread, and then also gave people the privilege to also put their own thoughts, their own stories there as well. So I read some and I'm like, wow. Some people were so depressed such that they wanted to kill themselves. They wanted to jump off the bridge. One bought rat poison. One wanted to use overdose of drugs and stuff like that because they were depressed. And at the end of it all, now where am I going is that at the end of it all, the stories that some of them now attached to it is that they thank God that they never did. One said he has been so blessed that he thanked God so much that he didn't kill himself. The funny thing is that when you are depressed, the devil will cloud your reasoning. Yeah. You'll be so myopic and you won't even be able to think of what God has done for you in the past and what God can do for you in the future. The devil will only make you see what is actually happening to you right now, making you forget that the experiences you're having right now is for you to be able to gather stories to tell in future. So my brother, my sister, you that you're watching me right now, don't beat yourself over the mistakes you've made. Yeah, don't beat yourself over the mistakes you've made. Don't destroy yourself over the mistakes you've made. Pick yourself up, rise up, cry unto God. Remember the story of David who took Bathsheba, the wife of Uriah, and God sent the prophet to him to go minister to him, to go talk to him. He could have chosen to just be depressed and stay indoor, be crying, and anything can happen. But he cried to God. He sought for forgiveness, and God restored him. And I pray for you that God will restore you. Stay blessed. I am Taiwo Ademeko. Thank you.